Oh, look at all the sun shining on my goodies. And look how I've cluttered up my table with my art materials. Oh gosh. But I was just thinking to myself how I keep meaning to paint in groups. What do you call it? I've lost the word. Tandem, but you know, more than one at a time. But as you can see, one often does take off. So this one's taken off and I love where it's gone. I'm pretty excited. It just feels like, oh, it just sort of feels like half sketchbook, literally a painting of my sketchbook over there, and still life. It's like a mixture. I like the relaxedness of that. And so this one is still at the background stage. And so I'm wondering, what do I see in this next one? And how much of a kicking off point is this top one for the next one? That's what's wanting to be answered now. That's the next adventure. We'll go through into this one. As I was looking at this one through the lens, what I saw were like two blue kind of beings. It's like a bird shape, the beak, and this one, or two aliens sitting at a table with something in the middle. So that's curious. I might do that as a possibility. Think about that as being a table and these two chairs, especially since I've just come home from being out and I met with a new friend, the first time we'd met, and we did some cafe sketching. So that's on my mind. So what I decided to do for the second painting in this pair was to set up on my table. I got a low table and I thought I'd set it up as if I was looking down at it. And so I got these two whiteboards, measured one side and then made the other side equal. So it was like I had this white square base, which I was treating like it was the size of my canvas. And it wasn't very different to the size of my canvas, actually. So it really helped a lot. And then I just proceeded to move things around, try different ways. I'm sort of new to still life still, really. I haven't done lots of it. And I do notice that when I can set up some real life things, it really does help me to loosen up, if that makes sense. It gives me a whole lot better to jump off and in person. So this was really fun. I think this might be a good idea for me to do more often. And it was a really successful thing to try out. I'm in my winter warm snuggly clothes. Oh gosh. Anyway, so yeah, I just keep moving things around. I might speed up the rest of this part of the video and take you to the next bit quite soon, because I don't think by the end of this video I still didn't really reach the place that I was going to finish, like use for my painting. But I was getting there. I was definitely getting there. And then I decided just to go for it. Treat it quite sort of loosely, and once again adding my own art onto the like a table, if you like. It's like I'm treating it like a tabletop, and these items are scattered around on the table and I'm looking down at them. I thought I'd mention what's happening for me at the moment. I've decided to, for want of a better word, sort of attack this as though it's a sketchbook page. That's something that I'm telling myself at the moment, to kind of trick myself to being loose. And I've decided to do a looking down from above kind of view. And that's why I gathered these things, and now I've put the paint palettes on there. That's why I gathered these things on a low table so that I could look down as I did some sort of outlines and stuff. So once again, I've got a lot of really interesting marks on here that I'm probably going to lose, but I'm just aware of how can I keep some of them and stuff like that. So that's the place that I'm in at the moment. I'm recording this going over the painting with you now after the event. So I video sometimes without talking, and then sometimes I get the inspiration during that painting session to tell you something. So please excuse when there's a little bit of repetition. So here I'm going and, accepting the fact that I have to lose some things to gain some things. So all these beautiful marks, even though I find it really quite interesting to have them all left there, it's still part of my probably my comfort zone, or just even my personality, whatever it is, to sort of tidy it up to a degree. And you might say that that's also, it's bringing clarity to areas that I've designated as important, and then calming areas that are not as important. So there's all that idea too. Remember, you might have heard me speak before about the loud and quiet conversations in a painting that I learned from Nicholas Wilton in CVP, and I just love that language so much. And so as I look at this painting, I'm sort of quietening down some of that background, just quietening it down. And so then the pieces that I've placed on my tabletop become the features, and they each get their own little day in the sun sort of thing. They get highlighted by having that whiter background come in around them. And I'll probably mention it on the video at some point, but the interesting thing I found with using ink is that when I put the white over the top, it often leaks back through. So it gives a really interesting effect. If you like that kind of thing, you should try it. It sort of happens by itself. And the other thing, when I was talking about the quiet conversation, just looking at the painting, that top leaf that's kind of going over everywhere is like a gum leaf. And I don't know if I quite got the colour quite right, but it's lighter than the other greens. So it's more of a sort of a quieter piece of the conversation. It's loud in its shape and a kind of leggy and over the place. And I did actually change it later on. I had that as if the stem was coming out of the vase or bottle on my left, with those big green foliage, but it sort of didn't work. And so I ended up putting in the pot plant circling around the green one on the right, which was a succulent. And then I made another kind of round shape in the middle of those gum leaves. So it was like another vessel or a bottle holding those. So it just felt nice. There was sort of like this big series of circle shapes. And I was trying to remember to keep them big different sizes. Having differences as much as you can always creates more interest. And the deep blue glass is on that one there that I'm painting around at the moment. And that little jade plant that I've picked from somewhere, and I've got it in my little blue bottle. So yeah, it's lovely actually seeing your plant friends and different things that you own and popping them in your own paintings. It's so lovely. There's a few artists. So in fact, I've got the beautiful book called Still Life. I'll link to it below because I can't recall the creator of it. But it's filled with all these different still life artists. And I've just been so enjoying seeing all the different styles of it. And to be honest, that's probably really been inspiring me to do this, which is gorgeous when that happens, when you find something that inspires you, but you bring your essence to it and your pieces. And there's a secret thing that I am doing in this new series. Like these two, I would count, this one and the previous one, I would count as the beginning of something new. They feel like breakthrough pieces to me, and I'm excited. I'm so excited to mention that. But at the same moment, I think, oh, don't put too much pressure on it, because then I sometimes get bored with something. If I make it too much of a big deal, then I might lose interest, and then where do I land? But there's something fun that I am really interested in exploring, is the idea of the elephant in the room. That concept that there are topics that as a family or a group or a society or whatever we don't talk about, but they're so big in their energy, they sit in the middle of the lounge like a giant elephant. And so I had this fun thought that for the next while, all my paintings, I pop a little elephant in there somewhere. And so with these two paintings, I've done that. And I find it really fun, maybe a little subversive or something, because I'm the sort of person that no matter how uncomfortable a conversation is about something or other, I'd rather have it than not. I find it awfully incongruent if something is really upsetting me in my life to not address it if I can. And I've probably had to work with that over the years. Sometimes you've just got to accept that it is what it is and there is nothing you can do about it, or that person is who they are and it's none of your business. But yeah, when there are things that are really disrupting my peace of mind, my equilibrium, and there is a way I can approach it, I actually really find great benefit in doing so. So I'm incredibly perplexed when things are swept under the carpet. And I guess I grew up that way. We weren't allowed, or we just weren't encouraged to talk about things that were upsetting. And Dad was really upsetting the way he behaved, and there wasn't much we could do about it. It was just, oh, he's not well. And so that was the big excuse for that. So yeah. Anyway, so I'm kind of intrigued at the idea of putting these little elephants in there and having that kind of, that idea that the elephant in the room, it's there even when we don't see it, but for the time being, I'm going to have them be seen. So yeah, that's a bit of fun. Yeah, fun for me. Hopefully it's fun for my audience as well. What else can I tell you? Maybe I'll do again and fast forward to the end and put a bit of music over this bit until I get to the next bit. An interesting thing about these lines with ink, they're kind of shiny. They come out sort of different texture, and also they seem to leak through. You can see down here, I've been over this with white paint a few times and it comes back through. So I think I'm just going to accept that as that's what's happening. That's what we got here, and not fight with it too much. I've gone over it here so that I can bring this sort of teapot color back in over. So I might do one more coat and then do the metallic kind of thing back over. But yeah, that's the nature of this medium, and learning about that as I go. But I think I sort of like it. I think that's what happened in the original. I think that's what I might have discovered when I did a series like this, and the more I painted over the blue patterns in the background, the more the blue just leaked through. So I decided to just embrace it and make some blues stronger, and you know, not try and fight with what is. On the Sunday of the art fair, it was our 34th wedding anniversary. So we took the day, went to Coogee Beach and went out for a beautiful lunch overlooking the ocean. And I couldn't help but take pictures because I thought, oh, wouldn't that make fun? Still life, even in my sketchbook. And so hence the pictures of our food. And I particularly like these navy cups. They remind me of some that are in a painting I did. So yeah, it was really gorgeous. Coogee Beach. We hadn't been there very many times. So yeah, that was the end of a very beautiful weekend.
Laura, is it morning tea time? You sitting in the sun? Is it morning tea time? Here we go. It's a bit tricky, isn't it, when you haven't got lots of teeth?
Hi, thanks so much for watching. You must be a dog fan if you've stayed right through that at the end there. I hope you enjoyed it, and happy solstice week. And also look out for my other videos about starting a Patreon. I'm looking at starting a Patreon in August, and I'm sharing the process of learning about it, finding out how I want to do it, what I want to offer, open to what you love in Patreons that you're using. And if you're interested in joining, it would be really lovely to hear from you. So yeah, those videos I'm dropping one a week for the next few weeks, I think, as I gather the momentum about starting and to sort of keep me on track. And from what I've gathered so far, it's important to talk about it ahead of time instead of just saying one day, oh, by the way, I've got a Patreon. So I'm learning again by doing, throwing myself out of my comfort zone, and I look forward to connecting with more of you there in a more intimate way, probably. That would be really lovely. So yeah, take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Bye, Aura. See ya. See you, everybody.